Fast forward, my man will say a more cover and brought channel your social swamps. I'll say a pop creation television. Podcast stories are training me Chris big headlines. Near Jemre, na EDB Akroma Ewaha. Need me on Braxia Muse Ende. EDD can you message with me and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell, share, and my friends will answer into me. Can be an idiom. I will leave you a comment under the comment section. And make sure when your cases are in sir. Young Raying Sim.
One Mildred Donko, a former employee of UMB Bank, who resigned just in time to join in the criminal enterprise, and a company called Advantage Solutions Limited, a holding company owned by Mr. Boahen and his wife, which received a substantial portion of the funds and was used as a conduit for funneling the funds into other companies owned by them. These other companies are Vertex Properties Limited, Vertex Solutions, and of course the famous BMC Communications Bureau Limited, which was, if you remember, that was a vehicle that was used to steal the 49,100,000 Ghana cedis from the national security accounts. Based on the evidence on the docket, we have charged Mr. Boahen with stealing, 3 counts of stealing, 1 count of defrauding by false pretenses, another count of willfully causing financial loss to the state, another count of using public office for profit and money laundering. His wife, Angela Ajay Boateng, has been charged with conspiracy to steal, collaboration to commit the crime of using public office for private benefit or profit, conspiracy to commit money laundering and money laundering. In the case of Mildred Donko, we have charged her with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit money laundering and money laundering. The same goes for the company known as Advantage Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, my fellow countrymen and women, I am keenly aware of the criticisms that were leveled against me after my March 2025 press conference. In particular, some of our compatriots accused me of judging Mr. Boahen and his dear wife prior to filing charges, and others opined that what I said of them should have been left to the courts to decide. I respectfully disagree for a number of reasons. The first is that I said nothing at that press conference that suggested even remotely that their guilt had been predetermined. Far from that. As the Attorney General of this Republic, I am the first to acknowledge that no matter how watertight the evidence of a prosecutor is, the accused is still entitled to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. That is a principle enshrined in Article 19 of our Constitution. And I cannot go against that cardinal principle. The second reason why I disagree with those of my fellow countrymen and women who think that the matters are dealt with at these press conferences should be left to the courts is that the constitutions require that we act, at least in public office, with probity and accountability. I see these press briefings, including the one I'm having today, as a way of breathing life into those cardinal values of our Constitution. Lastly, I think that there is absolutely nothing wrong with a prosecutor exhibiting confidence in his case. With particular reference to the case under review, the diligent investigations by the Economic and Organized Crimes Office led by Mr. Raymond Archer gives me a high level of hope and confidence that, all things being equal, I will obtain convictions on most, if not all, of the charges that I have preferred today. Besides the documentary evidence involving bank statements, deposit slips, check numbers, and so on and so forth, we have persons with deep knowledge of the matter who have agreed to testify at the trial. Persons with very deep knowledge, primary persons who were close to the action, have agreed after having been, interrogated, about what they know, they have agreed to testify in this matter. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, my fellow countrymen and women, between March 2025, when I announced the arrest and detention of Mr. Boahen and his accomplices, and now, there has been some speculation as to whether my press conference was yet another piece of political propaganda. This criminal enterprise involved the purported provision of secured internet services to Ghana Water Company Limited by the erstwhile Bureau of National Communications, now National Signals Bureau, National Signals Bureau. The contract document showed that Ghana Water was to pay BNC, that is the national BNC, the sum of 650,000 Ghana cedis every 2 weeks for secured internet services from BNC, that is the Bureau of National Communications. However, for purposes of the payment, Kobina Boahen provided the account details of his company, BNC Communications Bureau Limited, to Ghana Water, which religiously paid for the internet services. In other words, every 2 weeks when 650,000 Ghana cedis of money from Ghana Water left the bank accounts of Ghana Water, instead of going to the National Signals Bureau account, it went to the account of a company known as Bureau of National Communications, owned by Kobina Boahen and his wife. Okay? And then they did what they wanted to do with the money. We have made a decision to charge Mr. Kobina Boahen and other accomplices in the Ghana Water scandal separately. Okay, so in a few weeks, we'll be filing separate charges against him. And the amount of money in the Ghana Water scandal is in excess of 62 million Ghana cedis. 62 million Ghana cedis. That Ghana Water, that sometimes does not have money to pay for chemicals to purify your water, had to part with, purportedly for the provision of secured internet services by a government agency. That is what happened. And so, because the contract documents stipulated that the payments be made to Bureau of National Communications, Ghana Water then demanded that the check payments be made to National Signals Bureau because of the change in the corporate identity of BNC. What then happened was that any time the check was made out to National Signals Bureau and it landed in the accounts of National Signals Bureau, Kobina Boahen, as Director of National Signals Bureau, would then immediately write a check to himself and transfer the money. From our investigations, you can see the movement of the money. Immediately it comes from Ghana Water, he signs a check and transfers the money into the, his personal company account. Now, today something happened in court. Counsel for the defense told the judge that whatever I had said was a figment of my own imagination. But of course, he is entitled to earn his fee. So he can say that.
That is the latest of Kobina Boahen that the Attorney General put out this week during that press conference to update all of us about the ongoing investigation into some cases that he is on. It's not just Kobina Boahen, the latest with the Ghana Water Company Limited. In fact, already questions are being asked. The Attorney General intends to prefer separate charges on this particular one. But yesterday, Kobina Boahen was remanded into the Iyoko custody for the next 7 working days. His lawyer, Samuel Atachiam, doesn't want to have any of that. Will tell you exactly what the coming days will look like. But that's not the only case the Attorney General talked about. Talks about an update on the Sky Train, which he says is going to prefer charges against some 2 persons by next week or the week we are entering into. The National Service ghost name scandal, he gave an update on that. And then also, as we are seeing things play out right now, we will stay the steam on this here on the key point. The Ghana Bar Association is also demanding the immediate revocation of the suspension of the Chief Justice, Geto Tokono, describing that action as unconstitutional, lacking any legal basis under the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. This statement by the GBA has generated backlash, a lot of reaction. We're getting to. That's a real departure from the previous stance that they took. Well, we'll tell you exactly the detail of that resolution that they reached after the bar conference just about a week ago here in Accra. So stay with us. They are calling on the president to release the full decision establishing the case against the Chief Justice. Reason why she was suspended in the first place. Well, is that also grounded in law and in fact, or it should be after the fact, as the likes of Professor H. Kesi Prempeh have proposed? We'll get into this matter this morning. The president has also put forward 7 Court of Appeal justices for potential elevation to Ghana's Supreme Court bench. These nominees are expected to be considered by the Judicial Council and subsequently vetted and approved by Parliament. That has also had its fair share of conversation this week. We'll get into why this is an issue and what exactly will this process of approving these persons for 4 of them be. I mean, the 7 who have been nominated.
Nti we ensem ahodo etimi call so channel yi so high population television. Ya mishraw on trewashim so yemre ewo ha. Omari so bitimi subscribe, share, hit on notification bell na emma ebusuakuo no emu enye kese. Ya mishraw se obeka ebusuakuo no. That's an so bad here di adom bi edom yenia. Ensen hyiamu na yensumo ewo kwan so kra. Ha. A population television. Me that's so yemre.